Are we wrong? Yes, we are. What's up, guys? It's McKinley Crain here today. I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free review of Marvel's What If Season 1, Episode 7. Now, let's get into it. So, I watched this episode yesterday, but the reason why I'm doing my spoiler-free review for it today is because I didn't have time to make a video yesterday. But, I'm doing it now, so, still made, still making the video, still made the video. You know what I'm saying? Still will have made the video. Anyway, this is a very different episode. Um, this is like this episode is super lighthearted. Um, it's an it's like the genre of the episode is action, but um, it's it's like a borderline comedy episode. It's barely just not in like the comedy genre, if that makes sense. Which isn't a bad thing at all. So it's like a comedy action episode. And it's like the least dark episode of Marvel's What If yet, and it's like one of the least dark MCU episodes, TV show episodes I've seen. Period. This episode isn't really dark at all. It's um, it's it's not very serious either. Um, this episode is just about the main premise is what if Thor and Loki weren't like actual brothers? Like, what if they didn't actually grow up together? And they're not actual brothers. They're like adopted brothers. Like it's an adoptive relationship. Um, and basically, a lot of this episode is Thor partying. It's like kind of showing what Thor's life would be like without Loki in the mix, really. Through family relations. And it has a surprisingly big drastic change. I mean, drastic effect. Thor is a party animal in this episode. Um, he just parties basically, and I'm not even kidding. That's actually a main part of this episode. He's just like a party animal, just careless, carefree dude. And the government's trying to get rid of him, Thor. Oh, by the way, he also doesn't have a beard. Um, they're trying to get rid of him because they think he could be a threat, and because his parties are kind of causing destruction to just to a whole bunch of monuments and stuff. And so a lot of this episode is Shield trying to get Thor off of planet Earth. And just to be honest, this episode doesn't really feel canon, although it is it is technically canon. That's actually what would happen if Thor and Loki kind of grown up together. this episode like feels very tonally different from like everything else in the MCU because it's so light and non-serious, and that's not a bad thing. It's still a perfect episode, but wow. I mean, I didn't expect this episode to be as light as it was at all. Um, and the to- the massive tonal difference of this episode makes it feel non-canon, if that makes sense. But that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's still a perfect episode. It's one of my least favorite episodes of Marvel's What If so far. But I love all the episodes. It's just that I like some more than others. And, some are better than others. I know I just said that, but I felt like I had to say it again. Um, I thought that, as always, the animation was perfect. I thought that the story was very fun. And there were a lot of hilarious moments and just wacky moments in this episode. And there were just a lot of great jokes. And there was a lot of fun just to be had watching this episode. And it's amazing to see. It's amazing to like actually believe that in like an alternate dimension in the MCU, this is like reality. Um, and the ending, the ending was very clever, and I really want to see more like of like what happens like afterwards. Um, anyway, this episode was perfect. As always, is it one of the best episodes of Marvel's What If? No, but it's still a perfect episode nevertheless. Anyway, I'm gonna give this episode a 100% out of 100%, which is the equivalent of an A+. Like, subscribe, join the notification squad. I will return.